The man who never comes out. During the day, there's a man who lives 3 houses down from mine. I don't know his name. No one does. What we do know is this: he never comes out during the day. I moved into the neighborhood in late spring, one of those quiet American suburbs where the lawns are trimmed, the flags hang just right, and everyone waves even if they don't mean it. The kind of place that feels safe because nothing ever seems to happen. The house was cheap, too cheap. When I asked the realtor why, she smiled in that rehearsed way and said, "The previous owners moved suddenly." She didn't say why. The first time I noticed him was my second night there. I was unloading boxes from my car around 8:40 p.m. The sun had just dipped below the trees, and the street lights flickered on one by one. That's when I saw the front door of the gray house open. Not wide, just enough. A man stepped onto the porch. He was tall, too still, wearing dark clothes that didn't quite reflect the light. He didn't stretch or look around like someone stepping outside for air. He just stood there, watching. I nodded politely, like neighbors do. He didn't nod back. After a few seconds, he went back inside and closed the door. I didn't think much of it, until days passed, then weeks, and I realized something unsettling. No one had ever seen him in daylight. During the mornings, his house looked abandoned. Curtains drawn tight. No car in the driveway. No trash bins rolled out. No sound. Not even when the rest of us were mowing lawns or kids were waiting for the school bus. But every night, just after sunset, the same thing happened. The door opened, the man stepped out, and he watched. Sometimes he stood on the porch, sometimes at the edge of the yard. Never farther, never closer, always silent. I asked my next-door neighbor, Mark, about him one evening while we stood outside grilling. "Oh, him?" Mark said, lowering his voice. "Yeah, that's the guy who only comes out at night." "You know why?" I asked. Mark shrugged. "Some folks say he works nights, others say he's sick, photosensitive or something." That explanation didn't sit right with me, because sickness doesn't explain why he never blinks. The first time I noticed his eyes, I couldn't sleep. It was close to midnight when I glanced out my bedroom window. He was standing in his yard, staring directly at my house, at my window. Streetlight glow hit his face just enough for me to see his eyes were wide open, unmoving, unblinking, not angry, not curious, expectant. I pulled the curtain shut and laughed quietly to myself. I told myself I was being ridiculous. The next morning, I went outside early, around 6:30 a.m., determined to catch him coming home. His porch was empty, his yard untouched. No footprints in the dew, no sign he'd ever been there. Things escalated the night my daughter noticed him. She's 6, curious, observant in that way kids are, where they see what adults miss. We were brushing our teeth before bed when she paused and said, very casually, "Daddy, why does the night man stand outside our house?" I froze. "What night man?" I asked, keeping my voice light. "The one who lives down the street," she said. "He watches us sleep." My stomach tightened. "How do you know that?" I asked. She shrugged. "He told me." I laughed. I had to. The alternative was panic. "That's just someone standing outside sometimes," I said. "He can't talk to you." She looked at me like I was the one who didn't understand. "He doesn't talk with his mouth," she said. "He listens with his face." That night, I locked every door. A few days later, curiosity got the better of me. I walked over to his house at noon. Bright sunlight, clear sky, the kind of day that makes shadows behave. I knocked. Nothing. I rang the doorbell. Still nothing. Up close, the house felt wrong, cold, like it had been empty for years, even though I knew someone lived there. The windows were blacked out from the inside. No gaps, no movement. Then I noticed something on the doorframe. Scratches, long, vertical, like fingernails dragged down the wood. I stepped back. That night, he stood closer than ever, at the edge of my driveway. I confronted him. I don't know what I expected. An apology, an explanation, anything human. "Hey," I called out. "Can I help you?" He tilted his head slightly. Then he spoke. His voice was dry, like leaves rubbed together. "You let her see me?" he said. My heart pounded. "See you doing what?" "Staying," he replied, waiting for the sun to finish forgetting me. I took a step back. "What are you?" I asked. He smiled. "I'm what happens to people who stay in the dark too long," he said. "Eventually, the day stops opening its door." Then he turned and walked back into his house. The next morning, his house was gone. Not abandoned, gone. An empty lot where it had always been. No foundation, no debris, just grass. I asked around. No one remembered a house there. No one remembered a man, except my daughter. That night, she looked out the window and whispered, "Daddy, he says it's my turn to choose." I didn't ask what she meant, because outside someone was standing in the yard, waiting for the sun to go away. If someone could only exist in the dark, would you want to know why?
If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more.